So, it's the final session of what I honestly believe has been the best RCGP conference ever. It's the 13th and final, and a conference is its people. It's you that make a conference. So have fun and enjoy the session. There are a really brilliant range of people and events coming. You've got debates, you've got presentations, you've got chances to get involved yourselves. But I want to start with something that's quite close to my heart. It's actually the research paper of the year. And it's lovely to be allowed to be host for the morning, particularly when I discovered that the winner of the research paper of the year is an old friend of mine. And just to be clear, for the avoidance of doubt, I had nothing to do with the voting and the judging. But Dr. Miriam Sante will come on stage in a minute and outline her research to you. But she's an associate professor in primary care research in the University of Southampton and a GP in Bournemouth. And she leads research focusing on skin conditions in primary care, but also research that goes right across the primary and secondary care divide. And she's interested in developing evidence to support the management of a wide range of common conditions. You know, the sort of things we do every day, but actually the evidence base isn't great. And it's absolutely wonderful with me to get that evidence for pragmatic stuff, pragmatic wisdom at our fingertips. The Research Paper of the Year award gives recognition to an individual or group of researchers who have undertaken and published an exceptional piece of research relating to general practice or primary care, obviously. It's hugely competitive and it's prestigious. I mean, it is recognised around the world as a very, very prestigious award, and I am so pleased that such a practical and relevant paper has won this year. So I would like to invite Dr. Miriam Sante to the stage, where I will present her with her certificate first, and then she'll tell us about her research, and then she and I will discuss it. So Miriam, please come to the stage. Sorry, should have given you a heads up. There was a photograph needed. So the photographer's distracted by the rugby as well. Thank you, Miriam.
Thank you.
I'll leave you to it.
So, huge thanks to the RCGP for the award on behalf of that whole team. And my GP appraiser said to me recently that she could bear to talk about research, but she couldn't really bear to talk about emollients because she found it so boring. So I am going to really quickly run through the research and then talk through some wider controversies in emollients for eczema. But first, I do need to quickly remind you all about the three different types of emollients. So there's leave-on emollients directly applied to the skin. There's soap substitute emollients or wash products. There's emollient bath additives, which are literally poured straight into the bath water. But specific emollient products are often used for more than one indication, so we're really talking about mode of application rather than specific products. Regarding evidence base, there's good evidence for leave-on emollients. There's a Cochrane review showing that regular leave-on emollients prevent flare-ups and reduce the need for topical steroids. There's clinical consensus, but very little evidence about soap substitutes, no clinical consensus and no evidence about emollient bath additives. So that was why we did the BATHE trial. We randomized 483 children with eczema to either bath emollients or no bath emollients while keeping all other aspects of their eczema care the same, and we found no significant difference in any of the outcomes. So we can say that emollient bath additives poured into the water are no longer necessary, but soap substitutes and leave-on emollients still are, and we need more research into optimal regimens for leave-on emollients and soap substitutes for children with eczema. However, recent NHS England guidance is disappointingly confusing on the topic, despite our efforts to clarify. It rather lumps emollient bath additives and soap substitutes together. And what it says is prescribers in primary care should not initiate bath and shower preparations for new patients, and CCGs should support deprescribing of bath and shower preparations and substitute with leave-on emollients. So we feel we would want to add to that prescribers should be aware there's no evidence to support deprescribing emollients that are being used as soap substitutes. So we can advise people to either use no soap or to use a leave-on emollient as a soap substitute, but if they can't get on with a leave-on emollient as a soap substitute, we should really help them by prescribing other products. that's what we feel as authors of the study anyway. So, take-home principles are that the best emollient is the one the patient will actually use. It's been said before, but really that's the same for soap substitutes, but there's no evidence that people need to pour anything into the bath. All trials are a massive team effort. This involved researchers from 4 universities, 96 practices recruited participants, 483 families took part. None of the research team wanted to restrict choice of emollients for people with eczema. We want to help parents and prescribers and commissioners to know what does and what doesn't work. So we've been disappointed to get reports that some CCGs have used the research as an excuse for limiting soap substitutes, and some families with eczema are even having difficulty obtaining leave-on emollients in sufficient quantities, which is also a misinterpretation of NHS England guidance. So that's why we are really grateful to the RCGP for this award and for the opportunity to highlight what our research does and doesn't show. Primary care is so important to families of children with eczema, but they do sometimes feel that their needs are not taken very seriously, so we need to be careful about deprescribing treatments. I'm going to leave you with the words of one of our patient partners, taken from a seminar that she delivers to our medical students. And she says, please, can we keep on prescribing leave-on emollients as well as soap substitutes for eczema? So, once more, thanks very much to the RCGP for the award, and thank you also to our funders, the NIHR. Thank you.
Thank you, Miriam. Seriously, warmest congratulations on the award. But also, it was absolutely brilliant media coverage when this came out. I mean, I heard it on Radio 4. I then saw you on the BBC Breakfast Couch, and you did it beautifully. And I think trying to convey messages to the public in ways that are accessible and straightforward is a huge skill. So really well done. So just a couple of questions for me. I was really struck by the fact that you recruited 483 children. I mean, that is a massive number to get because it's so hard to recruit from practice. How on earth did you do it?
Well, we were surprised at the response. That families were really keen to take part. They were just keen to see research in eczema. But the important thing is the 96 practices. We couldn't have done it without them. As a GP in a research active practice, I do know how difficult it is to recruit alongside of everything else we have to do. So, yeah, fantastic for 96 practices that supported the study.
And I think when practices are under stress and pressure, it's really easy to cut back on doing things like research and teaching and so on. But I guess there's a benefit for the patients and the practice as well.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm going to be in surgery Monday morning. What should I be doing differently as a result of the trial?
Well, if you see someone who's new to eczema, give them the leave-on emollients, tell them to keep using the leave-on emollients every day, topical steroids for flare-ups, talk to them about soap avoidance, and then initially no soap or leave-on emollient. If they can't get on with that, then the emollient wash products. The difficult thing is when you've got families who really believe in adding the stuff to the water.
Because they've done it for years and years with every child.
Yeah, but usually when I say, look, we've got good evidence now, I haven't had anyone say to me yet that they want to keep adding that greasy stuff to the water. Yeah. You know, I have 2 of my children have eczema, and if somebody had told me at the time that I didn't need to put their greasy stuff in the water anymore, and that the other stuff worked better, I'd have been very happy.
Yeah. So it's that whole thing about the problem is if you just stop it all dead, you'll get the flare-ups and the confusion and the stress. But if you can do it gradually, I guess that's the way.
Yeah, and explain it to people.
Great. Yeah. Another role for our fabulous practice pharmacists where we've got them. Okay, so very briefly before we move on, next steps for the research, what are you going to do?
Well, there's a big ongoing study on leave-on emollients, best emollient for eczema, and that's because although the best emollient is the one that the family actually uses, often people have a long and frustrating journey of trial and error. So we're randomising people to ointment, gel, cream, lotion, to see which one works best first. Also, subject very close to my heart, supporting self-care for people with eczema. We've got 2 trials just starting. One is for families of children with eczema. One is for young people with eczema. It's called Eczema Care Online, so that's about online support. Obviously, we'd like to do more on soap substitutes. And then finally, I don't know how many people will have come across this, but there's increasing hesitancy about using topical steroids in eczema. Yeah. So that's a wide open research field, really.
Fantastic. Miriam, thank you so very much. Congratulations again, and keep up doing the brilliant research that you're doing. Thank you
so much.